It was a typical day at the small neighborhood bakery. The welcoming aroma of freshly baked breads and tempting pastries filled the air as customers went about their daily shopping at a leisurely pace. Everything was as usual until a commotion outside abruptly interrupted the calm. The alarmed bakers and customers rushed towards the windows to understand what was happening. Outside, in front of the store, was a desolate scene that drew gasps of shock and compassion from everyone. Lying on the sidewalk, a thin, dirty dog, her fur stained with blood, struggled to remain conscious. Her belly was swollen, indicating that she was carrying puppies about to be born. The dog had been run over while roaming the streets in search of food, and now, seriously injured, was on the verge of death. The initial shock gave way to palpable anguish. The people who gathered around the dog felt their hearts sinking, but no one knew how to act. The dog moaned in pain, her body shook, but she couldn't get up. Fear and helplessness were evident in her eyes. Passers-by, confused and afraid of making the situation worse, hesitated to approach, and the traffic on the road continued to flow indifferently, ignoring the unfolding drama. It was then that a woman, driven by impressive courage and compassion, decided that she could not stand still. With firm but cautious steps, she approached the dog. With each step, her heart beat faster, but she knew she couldn't leave her there. As she bent down, the woman gently touched the dog, who, even in the midst of intense pain, demonstrated surprising docility. The woman carefully lifted the dog's fragile body into her arms, feeling the weight of the responsibility and life she carried. Without wasting time, the woman called a taxi and, ignoring the curious looks and impatient honking, took the dog directly to the nearest veterinary hospital. During the journey, the woman tried to calm the injured animal, whispering soft and promising words. She knew that every minute counted. At the veterinary hospital, the team of professionals quickly sprung into action. The head veterinarian, upon examining the dog, made a critical assessment of the situation. She was in serious condition, and the only chance to save her life and that of her puppies was emergency surgery. The tension in the room was almost palpable as everyone prepared for the procedure. The surgery was long and delicate. The dog was exhausted, her body fragile and weakened. But, thanks to the skill and dedication of the medical team, after hours of hard work, the good news finally came. The dog and her 7 puppies were safe. The relief that flooded the room was indescribable. The woman who rescued the dog, who had been anxiously awaiting news, felt tears flowing from her eyes. She had done it. After surgery, the dog and her puppies were transferred to a local animal shelter where they received intensive care. The first few days were crucial. The dog, still weak and recovering from her wounds, began to show signs of slow but steady improvement. Their young, small, and defenseless, were under constant observation, receiving all the necessary care to ensure their survival. As time passed, the dog's wounds healed, and she began to gain weight and strength. The puppies grew up healthy and full of life, playing and exploring the environment around them. The shelter's staff and volunteers, moved by the story of survival and resilience, dedicated their heart and soul to ensuring that both the dog and her puppies received all the love and attention they needed. And so, weeks passed, and the story of courage and compassion had a happy ending. The dog, who had arrived at the shelter in critical condition, finally found a loving home. Her puppies, now strong and healthy, were also adopted by families who fell in love with their little stories of overcoming. The woman who had rescued the dog continued to visit the shelter, making sure everyone was safe, and became a passionate advocate for animal rights, inspired by the life-changing experience. What started as an ordinary day at the bakery turned into a powerful testament to the impact a single person can have when they decide to take action. One life was rescued, 7 new lives were saved, and the world became a slightly kinder place thanks to the compassion and courage of one woman who refused to look the other way.